I keep getting phone calls to a number no one knows. I bought a house. It's not haunted, I don't think. Truth be told, I haven't been here long enough to determine that one way or another. It's old, historical even. It was sold after years on the market following the previous owner moving to a senior living center. Her children left literally everything from the bed to the bottle of soy sauce in the kitchen. So it's eerie but not haunted. I don't think. I'm 25 years old and have lived a life. I've always been a bore, and I assume this is because every aspect of my life that is out of my control is so wild, and that at the end of the day, I really just want a warm cookie and a nap. I've had the same few friends for years. I don't go out and I don't date. My number is only given out in a professional setting. I am boring and I am happy. To get back to the story, I bought this house a few months ago. It needed some minor renovations. There was carpeting in the bathroom, for example, but it wasn't enough to scare me away. I made my first offer well below the asking price, and it was accepted within the hour. That definitely set off some alarm bells, but the house passed every inspection, and I was getting a hell of a deal, so whatever. For those curious, yes, I am white. The deal went through fairly painlessly, and I was moved in by the end of that month. Now, one thing you've never ready for, even when moving into your own place, is paying for all the bills yourself. I had renting up to this point, but all my landlords took things like taxes, utilities, etc. out of my monthly rent. I saved where I could, forwent cable, signed up for city waste disposal rather than private, and bundled my internet and landline. Now, I couldn't give less of a shit about having a landline, but the bundle deal was cheaper than the internet alone. A guy came by to set everything up while I pulled up carpeting and had the floorboards exposed. He set up the phone line in the kitchen and went on his merry way. For the first few weeks, I hardly noticed the phone. It was in the back corner of one of the countertops, completely out of the way. I honestly forgot it existed until one day it rang? I didn't even know the number of the line, but it rang. Since it obviously couldn't be anyone I knew, since they wouldn't know the number either, I let it go. It was possibly a spam call or something like that. Things carried on like that for a few weeks. I'd be minding my own business when the sharp electric chimes echoed through my tiny home. I turned the ringer down as low as I could, but the rings eventually became part of the background noise of the house. Then the messages started. There weren't IRS scams or anything like that. They weren't anything at all. Just 30 seconds of dead air. Like the calls, this was odd, but not frightening. The same thing had happened on my cell phone a couple of times, so I didn't really think anything of it, until I noticed the pattern. My job has me working odd, inconsistent hours. No week is like the one before. It's bad that I need to schedule an appointment. I need to ask for a full day off at least in a week in advance, because who the hell knows when I'd actually have free time if I didn't demand it. Knowing this, what I noticed was almost impossible. Whenever I came home, I never had any missed calls or messages waiting for me. The calls and messages only ever came through when I was home, when I should be answering the phone. I started to wonder if someone was watching me. I live in a quiet neighborhood, mostly retirees and history nerds. There's a local bar down the block, and some rednecks about 2 blocks west, but that's about it. There's a school within walking distance, so legally no convicted perverts can live here. What am I getting at here is I live in a safe place, much safer than any other of my homes. Still, anything is possible. I get an alarm system and some cameras. I also started writing down the phone calls, keeping track of how many came in and when, to make sure I wasn't imagining the pattern in which I noticed I wasn't. After a few more weeks, I got used to it. Random call, feed the cat, blank message, water the plants, random call, switch the laundry. Then the voice came through. "I know you're home," it sang, taunting me. "Why won't you talk to me?" From then on, the once blank messages would continue on like that. My name, my cat's name, it would even ask for my friends' names after the visited. The voice kinda sounded like a man, but it's so distorted that I cannot be sure. Maybe a man speaking through a voice changer or something like that. Maybe a woman. I don't know. I don't know how they have my number. I don't know how they have my schedule. I don't know how they know these details about my life, and I don't know what to do. So, creepy phone stalker, let's not meet. Sorry for the absence. The holidays have made hunting down answers a little bit difficult, and I've been out of town, so I've got no update regarding the phone call specifically. However, I've stumbled upon a hell of a coincidence that I think 98% of people don't believe it's a coincidence. To understand, you must know that I attract odd people. Despite my dramatic life, or maybe because of it, I'm a very calm and stable person. So you pointed out on my original post that my reaction to weird and unexplainable phone calls was a little apathetic. The way I see it though, there's no reason to get worked up over something I can't change. I have a stalker. Alright, I'll take steps to protect myself, but beyond that, there's nothing I can do about it. So until that changes, best not waste my energy panicking about it. That's just one example of how I approach problems and turmoil and drama. Because of this stability, I tend to attract the unstable. It's a symbiotic relationship. They want stability, and I love drama when it's not mine, so it generally works out. That being said, I don't really like having these people in life. Their drama eventually becomes mine, and that's unacceptable, so once we're not in the same class, at the same job, or otherwise forcibly in immediate proximity, the relationship fizzles out. This started as a survival tactic when I was getting bullied in elementary and middle school, and seemingly stuck around as bad habit. A few people survive the cut, but I'd honestly say I've no more than 2 close friends, maybe 10 friends overall, and that's how it's always been. Because of this trend, I tend to forget people pretty quickly. No point in remembering people who A, don't remember me, and B, I'll never see again. The thing is, I have reason to believe at least one of them does remember me. I have extended family in a major city, a few hours away from my house. I took some time off for the holidays, put my cat in a far too luxurious boarding facility, and drove up, happy to get away for a bit. While there, I made my plans to meet up with some friends, 2 of the 10 from college. We went to lunch and catch up. Nikita is able to get her master's degree, and Julie is getting married next summer. Meanwhile, I'm getting stalked. Julie asked for some more details, like what specific city I live in, what is my job, what phone company I have, etc. She really should have gone into police work. I told her all the details, and in the middle of it, when Nikita interjected with a fun little factoid. Apparently, someone we knew from college moved to my area. I haven't thought a thing from him since freshman year, but Nikita keeps in touch with everyone. Derek was an odd character. The classic townie in a school filled with city kids looking for some distance from home. He always wore his camo jacket and bright orange hunting hat, not sure what he was hunting, in the liberal arts building, but whatever. I never liked Derek. I'm very much the strong, independent woman archetype, where he is the cook my food, clean my house, have my babies type. And I'm not exaggerating on that. I was a young freshman trying to make friends, so I didn't want to misjudge. The more time I spent around him, however, the more obvious his issues became. While I tried to avoid him, however, he seemed to take a liking to me. I could never figure out why. I saw him maybe once or twice a month. And if I wasn't calling him out on his shit, I was ignoring his existence. Maybe he liked the challenge. Either way, he was only in my life for a year because he shared a couple of classes with a friend of mine. She switched majors though, so he faded away, never to be thought of again. Until now. According to Nikita, Derek withdrew from our university and enrolled in a vocational school. Now, I know where some of you are going, and no, he wasn't the guy who installed my phone line. He had a memorable face and is about 20 years younger than the installation guy. Anyways, he went to a local school for a while, but transferred down to a highly advertised for profit down in my area. Nikita said he didn't end up graduating, which didn't surprise me, considering the school shut down a few months after he transferred. She didn't know what happened to him afterwards, but Julie and I weren't about to let it go. There was another friend in the city. Lydia left school a few years before us, so we weren't in frequent contact with her, but still friendly. She was the one who knew Derek. We called her up and went to her house, booze and snacks in tow. Lydia had a few busy years, had a baby, got married, husband died, so there was a lot of catching up to do. It took us a few hours to get back to Derek, but we eventually got there. According to Lydia, he stuck around in my area, hoping to get into another school nearby. He was almost done with that program when that school also shut down. Don't do for-profit school, kids. However, he made some connections and good impressions with some employers who worked with that school and ended up landing a job. It was a cleric work, according to Lydia, but it was a job. I asked if she knew who the employer was, what company he worked for. If you guessed, the answer is my phone company. Congratulations! You can pick up on foreshadowing. Now, that's a normal coincidence. A guy from like 7 years ago who had a weird crush on me happens to live in my area and works at my phone company while I'm being stalked via my phone. Definitely person of interest material, but not really prime suspect stuff. until I decided to update my friends from home. I texted them the information, and one of them, Katie, immediately texted back asking for a last name. Lydia told me, and I told Katie. Not 1 minute later, Katie sends me a screenshot of Derek's Facebook profile, then his Instagram, then his Snapchat. Apparently, he friended Katie a few years ago when he first moved to the area. I asked her why she would accept a friend request from someone she didn't know. She said he was friends with all my college friends, so she thought he was okay. I never friended him, but I'm never really on Facebook, so she didn't think anything of it. Now, this weird guy, who had a weird crush on me 7 years ago, lives in my area, works for my phone company, and is friends with my best friend on her 3 primary social media sites, which she posted constantly. Well, that explains a lot. I still don't know how he would know my work schedule or when I'm home, even on my days off when I'm running errands. I've also searched for bugs manually, but with no results, but I think I'll have to look further into it. Maybe he's tracking my cell phone or something like that. It's all the same company, and I always have my GPS on for weather updates. Since I travel for work, I guess that's possible, but it seems far-fetched. Then again, all of this is pretty unbelievable anyways. I have no solid evidence against him, so I don't know what to do next. I guess I'll pass along the information to my friends in the police department? I should probably change my phone company, huh?